Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. May all be happy. May all be free from diseases. May all see only goodness everywhere. Let no one have any kind of suffering. Let there be peace, peace and peace everywhere by God's grace. And the subject of my talk this evening is what is Vidyamaya. Maya means magic. And Vidyamaya means Maya of knowledge. What is this magic? In Hinduism, it is mentioned that God is beyond time, space and causation. And God alone existed when the world was not there. Ekameva Advitiyam, God was one alone. Being beyond time, God was eternity. Being beyond space, God was infinity. And being beyond causation, God is a non-doer. That being the case, we wonder how we think that God is the creator of this world. Does God think that way? This question I shall answer a little later. God is a non-doer and non-enjoyer also. So God being a non-doer, how could God have created this world? The answer is that God created this world with His magical power, which is called Maya. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad of Hinduism says, Indra Maya vi pururupa iyate. It is God who by His magic has become this world of many. And this word Maya is mentioned in some ancient books such as Rig Veda and Atharva Veda of Hinduism. In the Rig Veda there is a hymn, it is called Nasadiya hymn. It starts with the word Nasat. That's why it is called Nasadiya hymn. In English that hymn is translated as, the name also is translated, they call it creation hymn. According to the English translators, this Nasadiya Sutta talks about how creation happened. And it has been described that that was a time when there was non-existence and existence, both are not there. Only divinity was there. Then God started creating this world. Step by step. It is a very interesting hymn, Nasadiya Sutta. If you go through it, then you will find that many of the ideas which are expressed there were later on adopted by science. That was a time when darkness was covered by deeper darkness. That's how it was. Anyway, in that Nasadiya Sutta, after describing how this world was created by God. At the end, very highly philosophical sentences have been put. Yo Shaddhaksha Parame Vyomant So Anga Veda Yadivano Veda. These two lines. What do they mean? That means creator may or may not know that this world has been created. Creator may or may not know. How could it be? Creator has created this world and Creator doesn't know it. The answer is that the Creator has created this world by his Maya, magical power. The Creator acted like a hypnotist. A hypnotist hypnotizes some people around him and says to those people, look at this tiger sitting in front of us. And those who are hypnotized, they will be able to see that tiger. But will the hypnotist see that tiger? No, because the hypnotist is not hypnotized. So also God has created this world with his power of magic, and others who are under the sway of God's power of magic, for them there is a world. But from the point of view of God, there is no world. God is Ekameva Advityam, one alone. So the hypnotist does not see the tiger. So also, from God's point of view, God is that hypnotist. By his power of magic, he has created this world. So this world does not really exist. In Shvetashvatara Upanishad, another holy book of Hinduism, it is written, Mayang tu prakriting vidyat mainam tu maheshwaram. That means this Mother Nature and everything that exists in nature, that is the product of Maya. And God who has used that Maya to create this world, that is, he is the magician. Also it is said that Maya is inexplicable. In Sanskrit, sadasadabham anirvachaniyam. You cannot say that it exists, nor can you say that it does not exist. From our point of view, we are under the sway of God's power of magic. This world seems to exist. But from the viewpoint of God, this world does not exist. I told you the story. That is a person was sitting on the front porch of his house, open porch. And it was early evening, and he saw a person kill another person. And immediately after that, the police came and arrested the murderer. And the police wanted someone as the witness, and this is John was the only witness. So the police came and said, you are our sole witness that this man killed the other man. So you in the court you have to say that this man created the other man, killed the other man, murdered the other man. And John had to agree. How could he deny the police? Then on the day of judgment, the murderer was present there, and then the judge, pointing to the murderers, asked John, did you see this person kill that person who is the other person? But John was in a here John was in a problem, because the very night when John had witnessed the murder being committed by that murderer, a voice on the phone told him, be careful. When you go to court, if you give your witness against our friend, then you will also die. So John was in a fix. So then John didn't know whether to say yes or no. So he said to the judge, Your Honor, I can neither say yes nor can I say no. Then the judge said, you should be able to tell. There cannot be something between yes and no. The judge had studied the law of excluded middle in logic. Said it cannot be. You should be able to say whether he killed or he did not kill. But John was in trouble. He could not say either of those two. Then John said, no, sir. I can prove that there are situations when you cannot say either yes or no. If you allow me to ask you a question, then I can prove it. The judge said, all right, ask me. Then John asked the judge, Your Honor, do you still beat your wife? Of course, the judge never had beaten his wife, but he could not say. If he said no, that means he used to beat, now he does not. So he could neither say yes nor no. If he says yes, that is even worse. So John was in such a situation. So whether Maya exists or not, about that we also cannot say whether it really exists or it does not exist. From the point of view of one who used the Maya to create this world, this Maya does not exist. But from our point of view, we are under the sway of the magical power of God. This world surely exists. So, our scriptures say that we travel between two dream worlds. When we are sleeping, at that time we are entered into one dream world. When you wake up, then we enter into another dream world. Both are dream worlds. Both are the creations of our minds. So we switch back and forth between the two. So, is there any way out of this switching back and forth between two dream worlds? Their scriptures say, Uttisthata jagrata praipya varan nibodhata. You make effort and become awake. Don't be a somnambulist. And finding the superior ones, you become enlightened. Who are the superior ones? The superior ones are the divine incarnations. They are like dream tigers. A person is having a dream, he is in his dream world. Suddenly he sees that a tiger is going to jump on him. And seeing that, he becomes scared, and then he wakes up. So the dream world is gone, and along with that, the dream tiger is also gone. But who made his dream world disappear? The dream tiger. It was a part and parcel of the dream world, but it helped the dreamer to wake up. So also there are dream takers indicate to the other world, which we call the world when we are awake, that world. And who are they? They are divine incarnations. dream tigers. With the help of them, we shall get out of this dream. And when you get out of this dream, then we'll get to know who we really are. And who we really are, the answer has been given by Sri Ramakrishna. He said to one person, you know it or not, you are divinity or God. That's what you are. So Maya, Vidyamaya means Maya of knowledge, and Avidyamaya means Maya of ignorance. So it is this Vidyamaya which is like a dream tiger, which helps us to wake up, get out of the world of Maya. So also the divine incarnations in regard to this world, which we call the world when we are awake, that world. These divine incarnations are like dream tigers. They help us to wake up and know our true identity. Our true identity is that we are divine. And in Hinduism, those great sentences are there, they're called Mahavakyas. Such as these sentences tell us that everything is divinity. Tattamasi, you are divinity. Aham Brahmasmi, I am divinity. I am Atma Brahma, that which I consider as my soul, that is also divinity. Sarvam Khalidam Brahma, everything is divinity. So these are great sentences. And this we get to know from the dream tigers. That means divine incarnations. The divine incarnations are full of compassion. Such as Jesus Christ. He was also full of compassion. He taught us to love even our enemies. Those who are responsible for his crucifixion, about them he was praying to God, God, please forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. They are like a bunch of children, babies. They have yet to know, learn. That was Jesus Christ. And Sri Sharada Devi also is a divine incarnation. Just as Ramakrishna is a divine incarnation. Buddha is a divine incarnation. They all had nothing but compassion for everybody. And this compassion, if we can develop, then we'll get to know that all is divinity. As I told you, one person once came to Sri Ramakrishna and said, excuse me, our scriptures said that we are all God. Then how come I do not experience it? Sri Ramakrishna said, whether you know it or not, you are divinity, you are God. This is what the scriptures of Hinduism want to teach us. Even Jesus Christ asked his followers to think that they are divinity. Be perfect as the Father in heaven is perfect. He said. That means know that you are divine. And when that experience will come, then only oneness will remain. Oneness without a second will remain. This is a wonderful idea. this Vidyamaya. Vidyamaya is represented by the divine incarnations. Just as our scriptures teach us. Wake up and find the superior ones and become enlightened. You are in darkness, spiritual darkness. That darkness will go only when you meet them. And so these divine incarnations are dream tigers. They are there to help us to wake up. When you wake up, there will be only oneness. There won't be any more than one, only oneness. As Sridhara Swami said, this divinity is like an infinite ocean. Divinity is like an infinite ocean, and we individuals are like so many waves in that ocean. As long as we are identified with our forms, we think that we are waves. But if our identification with our forms disappear, then we are the ocean. This is what the Mahavakyas want to teach us. And these Mahavakyas come from where? Come from those who are there to teach us how to become spiritually illumined. And they are the representatives of Vidyamaya. But there are people who will try to say that this world is real, and they'll eating, drinking, and that is should be our main occupation. We should enjoy this world. But one who enjoys will have to suffer also. Because this world, which is the product of God's power of magic or Maya, has pairs of opposites. If you know one thing, you will know the other. If you know darkness, you know light. You cannot know only light and not darkness, and vice versa. So also, if you see suffering, there is some enjoyment also associated with it. People, when they suffer from illnesses, they are suffering. But their suffering will be the cause of enjoyment of the doctors. My big brother, who was many years older than me, he was a medical doctor. And he lived in India. And he's a very good doctor anyway, and honest. There was a time when he went to the office of another doctor, and there was still another doctor present there. Those two doctors are discussing between themselves. He said, "What has happened in our town? Nobody suffers from any illness. What has happened to our town? Nobody suffers from even cough and cold." They were lamenting that. If other people suffer, then there is reason for them to enjoy. That's how it is. Enjoyment and suffering. Those who want enjoyment, eat, drink and be merry, they teach, they are not Vidyamaya. They are the products of Avidyamaya, Maya of ignorance of divinity. So Vidyamaya helps us to become free from Maya, and Avidyamaya keeps us bound in Maya. If you remember that, then that will be very good, because the spiritual goal as described in Hinduism is to know one's divinity. One person once came to Sri Ramakrishna and said, "Revered Sir, what is the goal of our life?" And Sri Ramakrishna said, "The goal of our life is to experience our divinity." So how to do it? And Sri Ramakrishna said to that person, "You have to do it by chanting the holy name of God. Think that you are holy, and you have to have the company of others who do likewise. Then a time will come when you will experience it. Your mind is filled with other thoughts, worldly thoughts. Those thoughts have to be outnumbered by the holy thoughts. I am divine, I am divine, I am divine." And then your personality will change. You will get to know your inherent divinity. And then you also will be gone. There is a story in Hinduism that is about King Janaka. He has an aura of divinity, but at the same time he was a king. So one person who wanted to know his God came to Janaka. And Janaka said, "I will give you the teachings, but first you have to pay my fee." But it is against the tradition of India. Nobody will pay the fee to the teacher unless that person has got the knowledge from the teacher. So that man said, "But you have not given me the knowledge of Brahman yet, God yet, divinity yet. Why should I pay you your fee now?" Then Janaka said, "When you will experience that you are divine, then where will the world be? There will be only divinity. And where will I be?" So then the question of paying the fee will not arise at all. So if we boil down the scriptures of Hinduism, then this is what we learn. That is, we are divine. Everything is divinity. Beyond time, space and causation. Ekameva advityam, one alone. There is no true there. Sarvam khallidam brahma. Everything is divinity. So this is the teaching. So the Vidyamaya helps us to experience that. Maya of knowledge helps us to experience that. Thank you.